It's story time!
Hello and welcome to the Storytime podcast. And this week I have with me Wren O Reilly. And do you want to tell everyone where to find you on the internet?
Well, my YouTube channel is Serena O'Reilly, and my Instagram is teapots_and_gunshots.
Teapots and gunshots, okay.
It's Sherlock inspired.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty cool username. I haven't heard one like it before. So you're here today and you're going to tell us some stories about growing up non-binary.
Yeah, and just kind of gender stuff like that. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So it all started in like primary school, because my school, even though it was a mixed school, it was very segregated. Like the girls only stuck to hang around with the girls, and the fellas only stuck to hang around with the fellas. And I was just one of those people that, like, I was the only person that hung around with both groups, and like I was one of the girls, but I was also one of the fellas. And like it was grand with us until you kind of got older, and it was like, how, why, and especially when people used to point it out, because I was very much a tomboy, so people then didn't really mind, but it got to the point that it was like, okay, this is more than me.
More than you just being a tomboy.
Being a tomboy. So like, because I like anything the fellas like doing, like climbing trees and chasing each other around. Like I used to come home, God bless my mother, with holes in my uniform and everything, from messing around. But then I'd also just like sit down with the girls and have the bounce, and then so that was grand until I went to an all girls secondary school, and like the moment I went in, like the girls kind of pointed out like, hey, you're a bit not girly, so I just kind of went with it. I was like, I am me, and everyone around me was like, that's her. So it kind of, and then also because of course me being on Tumblr a lot, I knew words, but I was like, that can't be me. So I came across the term like non-binary, which can be used as a general term for people who don't identify as male or female, but then can also be used as an identity in itself, and then the umbrella term. So I was kind of like, oh, that's grand. And then for a while I thought I was gender fluid, because I was like, okay, I'm sometimes really girly and sometimes like really boyish. But then I realized that there's a difference between gender identity and gender expression. So I dress quite feminine at the moment. Like I'll wear my makeup, I'll do my hair and everything. So then I felt for a long time that I had to prove it to people. So I wore boy clothes, and I always had my hair up and things like that. And so yeah. Do you have any questions? Yeah.
Well, I guess, like, what changed your mind then? What made you realise you didn't have to prove it to people?
I went to a course where a large proportion of the students going there were part of the LGBT community. And
It wasn't pink training by any chance, was it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was a CTYI.
Okay,
in
yeah.
DCU. So I went there, and it was the first time in my life that I met other non-binary people in person. And of course there was some who had really short hair and looked very androgynous, but there was some that like they looked either really boyish but identified as kind of more feminine.
Yeah.
and I realized then that I don't have to prove my identity to anyone, and that and then also they were all like, they were so lovely. They all sat me down. They're like, we will tell you everything we know, and then you can go off and do what you want. So that was really nice. So and I also feel like having friends within the community really helps, because if you've got a problem, they could be like, well, this and things like that. So, and then also kind of the body dysphoria that came along with it. So for the longest time, I hated my chest. Like, I remember, like, when I had to start wearing bras, like I was like to my mom, I was like, I don't want to, like, they're not supposed to be there. So which I didn't realize was weird until every girl around me was like, yes, bras. And I was
yeah.
yeah. And then like and then obviously everything that came with growing up, I was like, I don't like any of this. But it wasn't to the point of I'm a boy.
Yes.
So it was, because then some people are like, oh, maybe you're just a boy. And I'm like, no, but it's not to the extreme. It's just, this makes me feel really uncomfortable, but it doesn't make me
want to be boy.
Exactly, yeah.
So non-binary is kind of like, am I correct in thinking you're kind of, you don't really identify fully with either?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not when people say like, oh, are you, does it mean you're trans? You don't actually want to transition, like, you know, you're kind of in between?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
It is, yes. So there's cisgender people who identify with the gender they were assigned at birth.
Yep.
And then there's binary trans people who are male to female and female to male. But then non-binary is kind of, it's that grey area in the middle. So there will be so I kind of just identify as just non-binary, as like because like there's other ones like agender, so you identify with no gender, and then like gender fluid, so you kind of move around. Then there's hundreds of.
And is non-binary the same thing as genderqueer? Because I met a girl once who identified as genderqueer, and she told me it was that she didn't really, it was kind of in the middle.
Yes, genderqueer is identity under non-binary.
Okay.
So yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Now this is just
this
is all what I know.
Yeah.
So if I offend anyone, I am sorry. But yeah, so and so that's
so why, like, do you change how you express your gender, like, or is there a particular reason? I hope you don't mind me asking.
Oh God, no, of course.
Is there a particular reason why you chose to express, you know, slightly more feminine, or?
Yeah, it just depends on how I'm feeling. When I was surrounded by only females, I wanted to not be like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel comfortable with my femininity. So I always have like my hair up. My hair was really short for the longest time. And I always tried to cover up my body, because like I felt like other people were judging me. And it was also, if I can't be 100% feminine all the time, then I'm not going to be feminine.
Not going to try at all. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd have friends who'd be kind of boyish, but they'd still like have long hair and stuff like that. But I'd be like, no, don't look at me, please. And then also with that, in a Catholic all-girls school, that came with its beauties.
Yeah, so that was one thing I was thinking about. Like, Ireland is arguably not as strict a Catholic country as it used to be, but there's still a hangover from previous generations. And like, I know that I feel like Ireland is getting better for the LGBTQ community, but it is like not. It still needs to improve, and I imagine that non-binary is possibly one of the identifications that is most difficult maybe to get people to accept, is it?
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of Irish people are like, yeah, gay and straight, we get it, yeah. And then they're like, wait, what? There's other stuff now, you know?
Yeah, even with like, I was talking to someone the other day, and they're like, okay, I get the gay stuff, I get the straight stuff, bisexuals. And I'm just like, oh no.
That was also quite simple, in fairness.
But yeah, no. So yeah, so like, and I'm not saying being non-binary in an all-girl school is the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I have friends who are trans guys in all-girl schools.
Yeah.
So, and simply they can't move because there's just not room in the boys' schools around them, or they're gonna get bullied in the boys' schools. So,
yeah, they're in a terrible limbo there.
yeah, exactly. But also because I have friends who also go to mixed schools, and they're kind of like, I'm kind of in a limbo here, and especially with toilets.
Yeah.
Don't.
Oh yeah. So as a non-binary person, do you have to come out? Or did you come out? I suppose is a better question.
Yeah. Some people don't. I know that, but I kind of just started like hinting it first, and then especially because you kind of need to, if pronouns make you feel dysphoric or anything, you kind of have to be like, so I use like they them pronouns, and then you kind of do have to come out. But if you want to, you can. But I came out to my friends while in the all-girls school, and they were like, most of them were like, okay, this is cool, but some of them were like, why do you go here? And it's like, because I've been here since I was 12.
Also, your parents pick your school. It's
Yeah.
not like you get to really realistically be like, I'm going to this school. Like,
Yeah.
90% of the time you go to the school your parents put you in. So.
And that was definitely a case for me, because I went to like the town beside just to go to a better school.
Yeah.
So, but
I had such a fight with my mother. I didn't want to go to an all-girls school. I eventually won it. Jesus, it took me about a year.
oh really? Oh no,
Yeah.
I cried every morning on the way to school in first year.
Yeah, the thought of being in an all-girls school I just didn't want to do it. I wasn't interested. I think I'd done 1 year of an all-girls school in primary, and I was like, never again.
Yeah,
I
no.
just hated it.
No.
I can see how, like, because I'm cisgender, but I definitely was a bit of a tomboy when I was younger, and I felt very out of place in an all-girls school, so I can see, like, on a much smaller scale.
Oh no, because I sometimes I feel it's as bad almost for kind of for tomboys, because it's like, no, I'm female, just let me do my thing.
Yeah. Let me be.
And literally, like, that's the whole thing, just let people act and be like the way they want to.
Yeah. And I think, again, I was in primary school, so it was you know, your development and your understanding isn't as sort of developed, but I vaguely remember there was a lot more politics in an all-girls school, and even at primary school level, the fact that I noticed that, like, there was a lot more, like, you had to sort of, you were constantly, one person was upset, or you were like, I didn't say that, or like, it was always kind of just dramatic, really.
And you had to tiptoe around people.
Yeah, and I felt in the mix it just wasn't, everyone was like, and again, maybe it was because they were in different areas, but like, one was in Mayo, one was in Kildare, but like, I just found the mixed schools, everyone was so much more relaxed, and if you kind of had enough maybe of the girls or the boys, you could go over to the other side for a while.
Yeah. Oh no, and yeah, and especially because I came from a mixed school into an all-girls school.
Oh yeah.
So and also I would have preferred hanging around with the fellas, and like all my closest mates were fellas apart from like a few girls. So going in and being like, oh, okay. How do I socialize with these people?
And I feel like, and again, I'm not 100% sure I'm correct on this, but I feel like there's a lot of insults thrown around in girls' schools in relation to being LGBTQ.
Yes.
So it's always like, you know, they're always kind of throwing slurs around, and it's like, if you're too friendly with someone, oh, you're this, that, and the other, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like that wasn't something that, maybe with the lads in a mixed school, but it's not really I imagined, because I wasn't in an August school for secondary school, but I imagined that it would be much harder to deal with at secondary school level.
Yeah, especially kind of first to third year.
Yeah.
Because they're all still children, but like they have to kind of deal with more adult things. And I remember we were in home ec one time, and somehow we started talking about like statistics and gay people and everything, and like my teacher was like, oh, at least 3 people in this class are gay, and it was like, no, who's gay? No one's gay.
Yeah,
what? Like why? And then later, like in 6th year, I was like, okay, half that class is now gay. All right.
Yeah. Well, at least they could come out still in the school, actually.
Yeah. No, that was the nice thing about my school, because kind of the moment you hit TY, you stopped giving a damn what everyone thought of you.
Yeah.
So there was a relatively large population of LGBTQ people in my school, so that kind of helped. But the whole gender thing kind of hadn't really.
Probably threw a few people for a loop.
Yeah, exactly. And I know someone who was in my school now identifies as a guy, and like he didn't like he
That must have been tough,
and like he didn't come out, as far as I know, whilst in school. He waited till he left to go to college, but at that point I was like, honestly, like, because I did not like the popular girls whatsoever. They didn't like me. We had a mutual agreement. And so there was that. So I was like, yous can't say anything worse about me than yous already have.
Yeah.
So, but there was one specific girl that was in my immediate friend group. She was just a general horrible human. But she'd be so transphobic, and she was so homophobic as well. And it was like, why'd you got it? And she's one of those people like, oh, always be nice to people, and it's like, you're making everyone feel this way, and you're doing it on purpose. So she was kind of the worst one to deal with, because she was friends with my closest friends.
Yeah, and casually saying really hurtful stuff. Yeah. And people probably weren't calling her out on it either.
No, especially because like they didn't want to seem like hypocrites in case they accidentally said something bad as well, and then they didn't, like, they wanted to stand up but then didn't want to be that person.
Yep. And then I think you, from my recollection of secondary school, you say stuff and you don't realise the impact it has either. So she was probably trying to hurt you, but she probably hurt you much more than she even realised she hurt you, if you get me.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't, you say stuff in secondary school and you don't realise the impact that your words have if they don't affect you personally.
Yeah. And especially like she was saying stuff that you'd expect out of like someone in 6th class or first year. Yeah. It was like, you're 17? Like, you can't be going around saying things. Like, she'd say things like, oh, if you have a vagina, you're female. And it's like,
wow, that seems real specific.
Yes.
Seems like real. I didn't hear stuff like that till I went on the internet in my mid-20s.
Oh, no. But like, she'd say stuff like that, and it's like, hon, you can't be saying that.
Also, like, get your nose out of my vagina. Like,
yeah, I was like,
what's it got to do with it?
And then you'd make a gay joke, and then and then it would just be bad.
Yeah.
But no. So it was kind of just like snide remarks that people just kind of took like as like a passing remark.
Yeah.
And it's like, that really hurt me.
Yeah.
Why did you say that? So it was stuff like that.
Yeah. And then did you come out to your parents or? No. Okay, so
No.
Are they going to see this podcast and be like?
Well, like,
they know you and they know.
Yeah. They know. So it's grand. Like the whole pronouns thing. They're like, I get binary trans people, and that's as far as I'm getting. So it's like, okay, that's cool.
Oh, so they use your preferred pronouns.
That, you see, I'll use any pronouns. So if like I'm not going to take offense.
Yeah, of course.
To people calling me she her. It's like, well, I do look that way, so
Yeah.
like I can accept it. Like I'm not going to be one of those people that's like dressed up, hair done, makeup, and someone goes, "Oh, she," and I'm like, "I'm not a she."
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it just they're grand. Like I'm lucky enough that like my parents are like, you live your life, you're grand.
Yeah.
And like I grew up, like my mum would be like, oh, like whoever you marry, like she wouldn't say, oh, like, oh, if you fall in love with a boy, and
So your mum probably has some sort of inkling.
yeah, like just growing up, she was like, I'm not gonna like shoehorn you into this box, like just live your life.
Do whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, that's if you don't mind me asking again, that's a question I might have, is that being non-binary, does that affect your what's the word, sexuality? Thank you.
It can when it comes to labels. I from personal experience have realized that more non-binary people will kind of verge on this thing of being like bi or pansexual.
Yeah.
Simply because we've struggled so much with our gender identity, we don't want to kind of feel like, well, I'm only going to love people of this gender.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I don't actually know what terms you'd use, but for like a non-binary person who's attracted to like only
one gender.
Yeah, only one gender. So that when it comes to that, it would be more difficult, I find. But like most of us are kind of like humans. They're great.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also I find just young people nowadays are a lot more kind of open with kind of being like, if I fall in love with a human, then I do, and if I don't, I don't.
Yeah.
So that's not that's good in a way. So
yeah. So are there any other stories before we finish up that might illustrate what it's like growing up non-binary in Ireland in particular that you can think of? It's either go home now and be like, I have to think of 1,000
Oh yeah,
stories.
literally I'll walk out the door and be like, oh, this. Religion teachers are great.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, because you see, wasn't too bad. My religion teacher, she was very young, but she was also the SPHE teacher and like the RSE teacher.
Okay.
So
So can you remember what SPHE stands for? I can't. It's social personal
health education.
Education makes much more
Yeah.
sense than economics. Yeah. Just because Americans watching this will be like, what the hell is SPHE?
Yes.
It was basically, you learned everything in there. It's just like, it was just a pot and they just threw a load of stuff in and that was SPHE.
It was just like life skills.
Yes,
and
yeah.
how to be human.
Yeah, it was like, here's everything that none of the other subjects cover.
Yeah.
That's SPHE.
And then also RSE being relationships and sexuality education.
Oh, interesting. I didn't have that one.
Oh, did you not?
No, not that I remember.
Yeah,
No.
we kind of did like a module of like 10 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Like every year.
We genuinely had nuns come in and show us a video of like diseased genitals and be like, don't have sex. And that was our sex education.
We had a woman that like came in and once again showed us pictures, but she was doing it in like a funny way, and she was kind of making jokes about it, and I was like, can you do that?
I don't really know that. Yeah, it's like, I don't know how to react to this.
and then our religion teacher was sitting down the back going, I have to sit through this. Like, how many more times?
Yeah, like every year.
Yeah. Oh no, but she was good because she was younger, but like some of the other religion teachers, like if you would even mentioned it to them, and also I feel like the education in schools about gender identity are just
non-existent.
Yeah, we literally spent 10 minutes on it. One class in 6th year, and it's like, so there's cisgender people, there's transgender people. That's it.
Jesus. Well, I mean,
me down the back going like, hello.
That's better than what I got. I had
Yeah.
never heard the term till I went to college.
Really?
Yeah, not a clue.
Oh yeah, like I have a friend who went to school in the country, and there was one gay guy in her school, and she knows no kind of the community aspect of it, so she'd be like, if I say anything to offend you, I'm really sorry, I'm just really new to all these terms.
Yeah.
So, and also it helps because I'm part of the Rainbow Society in my my college, so it's nice to kind of be able to interact with other people, and also if they don't know like what to say or am I offending someone, it's nice to be able to be like, hey, you're doing that wrong, without like scolding them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a learning experience. So your religion teacher was pretty good, was she?
Yeah, the one I had in 6th year, she was A-okay, and because like I kind of mentioned it to her, and she was like, oh, that's really cool, and then also she was kind of one of those people, because like she asked us like what we wanted to do, and we're like, can we do something maybe about not straights, and she's like, that's against the ethos of my school, but I'll give you handouts.
Did she? Okay.
But yeah, so it was nice.
So are you saying it was against the ethos of the school to kind of teach you about different sexualities?
To kind of go in depth
Okay.
about it. Yeah.
That's a bit shit.
I know, yeah.
Heavy stuff.
Oh yeah. But no, it was grand in the end, and now I'm in college and everyone's great.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more like freedom in college to be yourself, and there's definitely a lot more information. I went to Pink training, I think in my late actually year enough for college, was either I think it was 4th year. But it was really brilliant and really eye opening for me about things I had no idea of previously, and also eye opening for me, I guess, about what I was doing wrong in terms of like expressions and what I'd be asking and things like that. And I think for me anyway, it's a constant learning curve. Like I'm always trying to get better, and I'm
the same. Like I still make mistakes.
Yeah, and I know that like as a cisgender person, like you're really curious about different things, but like I've learned that there's ways to ask things as well.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And like, so I hope that everything I've asked is okay in the context of this podcast.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be coming on
Yeah.
this if I got offended by anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, like even now though, there's like an argument about like asking someone like about their gender. Like before it was called something else, but now it's like when when you're referring to biological sex, and it's like a trans person, just general trans, and like binary or non-binary, it used to be called, it can be called biological sex and things like that, but people prefer now to be called assigned female at birth or assigned male at birth.
Yeah, well, that also is very like makes sense, and it's easy to figure out as well.
Exactly, yeah. But I know people that did like this is an entirely new concept, and I didn't realize because I just knew, but people are like, no, it used to be called other like you'd refer to it differently, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And actually I was supposed to go to Pink training this year, but it didn't line up with my schedule, but like people were saying it's great because
I definitely recommend it.
It's like because there's like spirituality workshops and stuff, and it's like it's nice how you can have, because I feel also the LGBT community and kind of have a weird relationship with spirituality.
Okay.
Especially like from what I know in my friend group, because it's kind of like, oh, okay, so
they probably feel very frozen out of like Christianity and Catholicism.
Exactly, yeah. So and
growing up in a Catholic country, then
exactly. But and then it's nice because just like spirituality doesn't mean like you need to stick to a specific religion. Like you can just kind of just be a good person and kind of meditate and things like that. So that kind of stuff, like I really want to go next year.
I definitely recommend.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Quick reminder to everyone where to find you online if they want to follow you.
Wren O Reilly on YouTube, and then Teapots and Gunshots on Instagram.
With 2 underscores.
Yes, in between, on either side of the end.
I'll put all your links down in the description so they can just click and go check out your stuff. And we are on YouTube, SoundCloud, and check out our Patreon if you want to support the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And see you next week.